Chapter 7 Friends. When Lex pulled herself up in the room, it was empty and quiet. There was no alien, and no DeRosa. Lex continued alone through empty tunnels. In the next room, she looked for another door. She was tired and frightened. She was losing hope now. She looked around and saw the predator. It was standing there quietly. Its spear was in its hand. It was time to kill again. "Wait!" cried Lex. She lifted her empty hands. "Please wait!" Slowly, she took the bag off her back and threw it to the predator. The gun. But there was no time for the predator to get it. Another alien was behind it. It turned and started to fight. The spear fell to the floor, but the predator threw the alien to one side. When it got up, Lex was in front of it. It jumped at her. Just in time, Lex got the predator's spear from the floor. The alien looked at her. It was moving closer to her now. She lifted the spear, and it went right through the alien's body. It took a long time to die. It tried to reach Lex with its teeth and with its tail, but Lex's hands did not leave the spear. At last, the alien died. Lex looked across the room. The predator had its gun now. Was it going to shoot her? No. It turned quickly. More aliens were coming into the room. The predator shot and killed one, then another. The aliens were not going to stop. They did not care about guns. But then they heard a cry from another part of the pyramid. It was the alien queen, and it was calling to them all. The aliens ran back into the dark. The predator got its spear and started to go to the door. "Wait!" shouted Lex. "I'm coming with you. Do you hear me?" The predator turned quickly. It could kill Lex easily. She knew that. But the predator did not kill her. With its knife, it took off the dead alien's tail. "What are you doing?" asked Lex. Then Lex understood. The predator was making a weapon for her. The alien's tail was a spear. Now she was ready to fight. The aliens came to their mother, the alien queen. Chains still held her, but now it was time to lose them. The aliens jumped up and started to break the chains. Soon, the biggest, most dangerous alien of all was going to be free. Lex saw something on the floor in the next tunnel. A camera. "Miller!" she shouted. She went into the room and saw all the alien eggs. Then she saw Miller and Verheiden. The two men were not moving. Lex went further into the room and found DeRosa. Like Miller, the Italian could not move. Something hard and black covered his body. But DeRosa was not sleeping. He turned his frightened eyes towards Lex. "Help me!" he called. "The thing is inside me. Lex, these terrible things must not get out of the pyramid." Lex understood. She lifted Verheiden's gun with both hands and pointed it at DeRosa. It was a difficult job, but it was the only way to help DeRosa now. "I'm sorry," said Lex, and then she fired. The predator just watched as Lex dropped the gun and turned away. Moments later, the little alien jumped out of DeRosa's dead body. The predator caught it easily in one hand and killed it. The predator looked back at the eggs in the room. Each one of them had an alien in it. The eggs started to open. The predator took a machine from its arm and turned it on. He threw it to the floor. Lex watched this and understood. "It's a bomb," she said. "I hope it kills all of them." Now they started to run through the tunnel to the entrance of the pyramid. Lex and the Predator kept on running, down the main stairs and back to the tunnel. A sled was waiting for them there. Lex and the Predator jumped quickly onto the sled and rode back up the tunnel to the station. Back in the pyramid, there was a terrible sound. The Predator's bomb. A big ball of fire shot out. No more eggs, no more aliens, no more pyramid. The fire followed Lex and the Predator up the tunnel too, but they reached the top just in time. At last, they were safe. The Predator turned to Lex. Slowly, he reached one hand up to his helmet and took it off. Lex looked up into the face of something from another world. The Predator still had a part of an alien's hand. He moved it towards Lex and put the sign of the hunter on Lex's face. Suddenly there was a terrible sound behind them. Something big broke out of the ice. It was the alien queen. Chains still hung from her arms and legs, but she was free. All her children were dead, and she was angry. The Predator threw a spear at her, then a knife. But the alien queen was too strong. She hit the Predator with her tail, and the Predator fell to the ice. Lex ran at the alien queen and pushed her own spear into the alien queen's body. There was green blood everywhere. The alien queen fell back into one of the buildings, but she was not dead, and now Lex had no weapons. She ran. The alien queen followed. With her long legs, she was much faster. Lex tried to hide inside one of the buildings, but it didn't help. Soon, the alien queen was going to kill her. Suddenly, something jumped up high above the alien queen. It was the Predator. It pushed its spear into the alien queen's head. Lex ran out of the building. It was near the edge of the ice, and soon it was going to fall into the cold water. The queen still wasn't dead. But suddenly, Lex had an idea. She looked at one of the chains around the queen's arms. Quickly, she started to pull the other end of the chain. She was trying to get it around part of the building. The Predator saw her and started to help. "I've got it!" shouted Lex. The chain was on. Now they had to wait for the building to fall. But it was too late for the Predator. The end of the alien queen's tail pushed through the Predator's body and lifted it up. At last, the building fell, down into the dark, cold waters below. The queen's tail threw the Predator to one side, but the queen could not escape because of the chain. The building pulled her into the icy waters with it, far down into the cold and the dark. Lex went to the Predator. She had no words, but she sat with the great hunter as it died in the snow. Suddenly there was a light behind her. A spaceship appeared above her. A new Predator was standing in front of her. It looked older. It saw the sign of the hunter on Lex's face and understood. While others carried the dead Predator back to the ship, this old one lifted a spear. It held the spear out to Lex. This weapon was hers now. And then the Predators were back in their ship, and it flew up into the dark sky. Lex stood alone in the night and watched it go. The Predator ship was leaving this world. They were going home. The body of the dead predator lay on a table. Everything was quiet. But then suddenly, something moved. Something inside the predator's body. A shower of green blood shot up, and then something came out. A new kind of life. Half alien, half predator. And more terrible than either.